Welcome to Superhero Pow! I'm your host nerd, Tom Fremgen. Today I thought we'd finally take a look at the DC Comics new history of the DC Universe. The so-called original history of the DC Universe came out back in 1986, which was meant to help explain the, at the time, new history of the DC Universe after all the changes from the massive Crisis on Infinite Earth series. So, aside from being a great-looking 2-volume book drawn by the legendary George Perez, it was a well-needed book too, as so many things had changed. Like No More Earth 2 and their Justice Society of America, and Superman was no longer a founding member of the Justice League of America. Stuff like that. As for this new history, well, I'm not really sure what the motivation is behind it. While it's true DC's history is a complete mess, to spoil the series a little bit, this new history does nothing to fix that. It just kind of lays it all out there and says, well, there it is. Anyway, let's take a look at this new history. First off, gone is the celestial hand that created the or multiverse, and the Owen Krona's part in it. Replaced now with the Hands. And I'm guessing that was supposed to be clever? Who are Perpetua and her kids, the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forge. Now, is it just me, or does that seem overcomplicated now? Next off, it gets into cosmic ancient stuff, like angels and the Owens, who would become the Guardians of the Universe, and the Zamorans, and the Controllers. And then, of course, there's the new gods. Moving over to the planet Earth, we get Atlantis with Arion, the Lord of Atlantis, and then cavemen, which is a little weird to me. I always assumed cavemen happened before Atlantis, just as it did in the original history of the DC Universe. Well, not anymore. Next, we quickly rush through mystical legends and beings that would be the source of powers for superheroes in later years. Finally slowing down, we hit the Golden Era or World War II era of superheroes. One interesting note, since Superman is no longer the first superhero, the original history pegged the Crimson Avenger as the first superhero, as the masked crime fighter made his first appearance after Superman in 1938. But now, Dr. Occult, another Siegel and Schuster creation, with his magical talisman, is considered the first superhero, appearing before Superman in 1935. The Crimson Avenger is now just mentioned as a member of the Seven Soldiers of Victory, to which there's another change, as Green Arrow and Speedy have now time-traveled from the present to the 1940s so they can join the team. Originally, after the Crisis, they were removed from the team, and Vigilante's sidekick Stuff and the Crimson Avenger's sidekick Wing were then counted as part of the Seven. But I guess all Asian sidekicks have got to get to the back of the line now. The issue then goes through most of the heroes of the Golden Age, including a bunch of retcon characters like the Amazing Man, Baron Blitzkrieg, Queen Hippolyta as Wonder Woman, Johnny Sorrow, Red Lantern, and all the newly created sidekicks. Speaking of sidekicks, it's amusing that they mention Pinky, but not his mentor hero, Mr. Scarlet. Another odd thing here is the hero John Henry Jr. I could have sworn he was supposed to be at the start of the Silver Age, but now the ill-fated hero is a Golden Age hero. They also mentioned the new Justice Society Dark, because DC just loves beating their IP into the ground. And another interesting change, Dr. Fate is no longer a Lord of Order. Now he's just a wizard with a magical helmet, which I gotta say I'm not a fan of. Lastly, they briefly touch on the 1950 heroes like Automan and Captain Comet, and mention the Justice Society of America's disbanding under the pressure of Congress's un-American hearings. Overall, a decent enough issue. Writer Mark Waid does a fair job trying to tie everything together, and you can endlessly quibble about this and that, like Why did you include Manhunter Don Richards, but not Manhunter Paul Kirk? Kirk's not mentioned in the later issues either. But hey, Waid got the job done. The artwork by Jerry Ordway and Todd Nook is well done as well. Though maybe I questioned the first page of Barry Allen, aka the Silver Age Flash, who is narrating this book, saying that he's retired from being a superhero, but he still manages to look like 25 years old. But hey, decent book. Not as amazing as the original series, but it's fine. But now the best part of the book, for you long-term and new DC fans, is the back, where David Wildgaz, with help from Mark Waid and John Wells, has the timeline, which goes into more events and characters, giving you the actual comic book issues where you can read about all these things. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the first issue. What were yours? Is it just what you needed, or did you find it lacking? Either way, be sure to let me know. And thanks for spending time with me. And if you could be so kind to like, subscribe, and notify, I promise not to kill a puppy on your birthday. I mean, you don't need that kind of guilt.